shall we? Who's ready? Ihana. For some boom, baby, boom.
Good morning.
Morning. You okay?
I'm okay. I'm okay.
I'm packed up and ready to go. I just have to take a shower.
Uh-huh.
I already got up early, cleaned up everything.
Okay.
Yeah, man. You know what it is. You know what it is. It's that morning marijuana motivation time, baby. And I'm Mark Saint. This is Saint's Addiction. And this morning, the sun is shining. Thank God. Yes. The other side, bro. We're going to do this morning motivation and talk about when the other shoe drops. Because last night's been a bit of a doozy with some emotionality. And my friend was crying on the phone. And I have to tell you, the balance is real. Let's go. Leg out. Saints Addiction. Bless up. So you got to wait for people to change. You got to wait for the other shoe to drop. There's people that are holding hostilities in that you might not even get to see. People are hypocrites left, right, and straight, and you'll never get to see. Saints Addiction was born out of calling myself out of my own hypocrisies. It's kind of the same as like having an excuse and believing it, or having some fear and believing it. You know, there's people that will always believe their emotions instead of changing it. There are people that will always switch up on you, and that's just the way human beings are. Being emotional creatures, they're going to say one day, you got to go, or I can't do this anymore, or it's too much for me. I get it. I see. Trust and believe, your boy Marky Saint BCN, and believe in, I believe people when they show me who they really are. I was seeing one of these girls dropping the lower back to show her tramp stamp, but she's the God believer, and I was like, oh my God, the hypocrisy. She told me she didn't model. Next thing I know, she's advertising. We're all lying. Except for at Saints Addiction, the lies stop here. I stopped lying to myself years ago, I stopped lying about my relationships. I stopped lying to myself and my situations, because that's what ends up happening. We'll create a safe place inside of our minds that's basically a lie. And as long as it placates ourselves, makes us feel comfortable, or drops our resistance, then we'll believe it. Like I talked about yesterday, believing a different belief system. I wasn't going to believe in poverty. I was going to believe in abundance, or I wasn't going to believe my friends. I was going to listen to them. And, they say all the time, trust people when they show you who they really are. And that's why I'm having this conversation this morning. I move out today, but he said I could stay. That's the switch up. I thought I was going to Denmark. Plans change. My one friend dusted it off and said, oh, I still love you, but then hung up on me. And I was just like, that's the hypocrisy. We're human beings. We're fickle. And that's why I don't chase followers or clout or any of that other shit that could easily be deleted and forgotten. And that was 2 weeks ago, where I said delete, block, and forget. We're in the delete, block, and forget culture. We're in cancel culture, where as soon as we don't like something, the way that it goes down, we switch up. And that's just how we are. Someone's nice to us, we might be nice to them. Someone's mad at us, we might be mad at them. And I don't put it past any human. I see with my real eyes, and I realize real lies, And the only person I'm not lying to is myself. That is called deception. And if you want to live in your own perception, then you will. You will classify people as being rude or against you or not having your same perspective. And that's all true. Everybody, everyone gets jealous, envious, All seven deadly sins. We're all highly capable of gluttony, vanity. That's what that was. The girl was just like, all vanity. But it was supposed to be Christianity. I saw a cool shirt on Homegirl that said recovering Catholic. You know what I mean? And I got friends that won't even go. Well, one's in Sumatra right now and he can't even get a beer. My friend won't go to Abu Dhabi because it's the Middle East and he can't score any alcohol. It's what it is, bro. You know, I see. I see my friends drinking. I see my friends gaining weight. I see my friends slipping into their feelings, and it's just not useful. I told my friend I gotta go. I gotta do an interview with. I think I just hired my first sales guy like last night. We spoke for a good half hour on the phone, and he was really excited about joining the team. And I'm like, I don't have the time to be on emotionality. I don't have time to stop and tell this guy, oh, this girl that said she loves me is now crying and we're having an emotional conversation. No, it's on business. What do you do for a living? What's your resume look like? How do you see yourself working in this corporation? Those are conversations I had literally after a cry conversation. And I was just like, it's too much to onboard somebody else, especially if they're off board. I can't onboard all their shit. It's not legit. The math ain't mathin'. And that's what I had to explain. It's one of those things where you're going to be in your head, in your dread, and pumping yourself full of that negativity. And I'm here to say, it's time to switch up. It's time to cancel your issues, cancel your subscription to issues, and stop having these dramas. I was on the phone, like, I have shit that I gotta handle, and I'm different. And I was telling her, she's like, you're angry. And I was like, you're talking about one of the worst times of my life, a 5-month-old abortion, and you think it's not a trigger for me. I'm like, we could have talked about anything. We could have talked about Mars. But no, she says, I'm here. I'm scared of Putin. I'm scared of wars. And in her fear, she played everything to the intensity of Dramaville. And I was like, I don't live there anymore. I moved away. I'm moving out today. And that's it. I'm not going to move back in. I'm not going backwards. Only a fool trips over something behind them. If you are still talking about your parents and you got grown-ass kids, you haven't lived. And I'm over here going like, you're over here still talking about your parents when you are a parent. And those kids, need you now. I had the same conversation with my cousin. That he was reeling from his daddy's death, maybe a 7-year depression. But I was like, you're about to die on your 5 kids. You're about to multiply this disaster, this pain 5 times. You wouldn't wish that on your kids, but then you're going to die on them. He started getting up early and going to work. I think he stopped drinking. That would be impressive. But I've been wanting to smoke the spliff here in the sunshine at this table since I got here. And this is the first time there's no clouds in the sky and the sun's just shining. So when I explain the switch up, the other shoe dropping, I told him King Ramus. I said, wait a little bit. He said, I'm going to go on my trip. I said, how long are you going to go? I don't know, 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I'm like, oh, it's an open-ended vacation. He said, yeah, or 2 days if we don't get along. There it is, bro. You can get kicked off the yacht. As soon as the owner don't like you, the switch up and the shoe drop. And, oh, I love you so much. I'm always there for you. And I haven't talked to this girl in years. And I'm like, you haven't been there for me. What are you talking about? And that's what it is. Perspective. If you can't see someone else's perspective, if you can't see their ability to switch up, if you can't see that at any moment they can leave, like the earth, life, and their feelings, this is what you got to believe. It's almost like it is a lot like cancel culture, where people, as soon as they don't like you or you say something political or you get Dixie chicked, okay, we're gonna have to call it that. You get Dixie chicked, that's it. You're kicked off the yacht. There goes the other shoe. As soon as it dropped, it's kicking you. And that's what it was last night. I was just like, it went from love to hate real quick. I told her about this. I said, these love-hate relationships are toxic. You know, she's like, that's why I don't talk to my mom anymore. I'm like, I don't talk to my mom anymore too. These Scorpios, they'd love to sting you. And it's always the people that are closest to you. We let out our anger. We let out our frustration. We yell. I read something the other day, said I will not be pushed or block someone's exit or have my cell phone taken from me. And I was like, I've stopped someone from exiting. We were outside, but I didn't want her to run back inside. I've stopped my ex from calling. I said, give me this phone. Come sit out here with me. Get out of the fucking car. That was too much intimidation. That was too much flex. Don't rush me. Don't push me. I'm here to tell you, monkeys rush, push, and they fight. It's part of life. We all come out with what did they call it? Nails? What did they say? Fighting tooth and nail literally means fighting like an animal. You know what I mean? An animal uses its teeth and its nails, and that's how we fight. You might not see it that night because people know how to act right, but it's all between the lines. It's all in the contract, baby. You got to read the fine print. People will switch up, and that's it. I don't know what else to tell you. And as much as I would love to say plans were made and I thought it was going another way, get ready for it to switch up. Get ready for the winds and the currents to switch on you. And that's why you got to be a sailor. He asked me, what are you going to do? I said, I don't know, but I'm going to be a man. You know what I mean? I'm going to find my path, and I'm going to walk that bitch, bro. I'm going to walk it till the ends. And that's what it is. I'm going to walk my own path, right? For my own intelligence, yep, and for my own sobriety. You know, part of the emotionality and the reason why people still drink is because they ain't right inside. You know, and the drunk version of them might like you, and the sober version of them might not. That's the other shoe drop. And every one of us is a hypocrite. Every one of us has Satan's addiction. The ability to be so holy and so devilish at the same time. And that's what I was like, I'm not perfect. Not even the slightest. I'm the mistake master over here. I took the Maker's Mark logo and made it into Mistake Master. That's what you're going to do. You're going to master mistakes, especially with Maker's Mark. And that's where we usually make these mistakes. We say the things that we actually feel, but we say them in awkward ways, right? You know, I always say it comes out of you sideways. That's what it does. It comes out of us sideways. It makes us uneven, unbalanced. And then that's why I wanted to get right with myself. I had that conversation with myself in the mirror, in my soul, on my journey. And I said, yo, self, you know, like, let's do this for our health. Let's not just drill the holes in our canoe. Let's get some mental stability and see it through. And that's what you have to do. You have to sit there long enough to witness your own switch ups. You know, everybody has the ability to say, I don't like you anymore, or I want to walk away, or block even, you know what I mean? And that's what we do. We bury our heads in the sand and drill holes in our canoe. And I'm over here saying, paddle harder. And you look back and there'll be other people that are drilling holes. And you're like, I'm paddling and you're drilling. And it's not a fucking program. This is not how we swim. It's almost the same as if you were to be on a row team and the other one starts rowing in the wrong direction, bro. You're just going to be going in circles. And that's what this is all about. Not being in a circle, but finding out that there's a seesaw, you know, and that everybody seesaws their emotions. They go from, hey, you're my friend, to block in the end, or sure, you can go with us, but no, I've changed my mind, and yeah, you can live here, but 2 hours later, my daughter's here. It happens, bro. You can be mad at the game. You can hate the player, but don't hate the game. That's what I keep telling everybody. It's about compatibility. It's enough to be in companionship. It's enough to have attraction, but compatibility is what everybody's lacking. Everybody's trying to find somebody that's as spiritual them, or has the same belief system as them, or wants to have kids with them, or like them. You know, some people aren't kid people. That's why we ask these questions, especially if you're on a dating app. You're on some, what college did you go to? How much income you earn? We pre qualify all these things. And even then, we'll never learn. Sure, they went to the same college as you. Sure, they have the same religion as you, but maybe they didn't have the same political views. What are you going to do? You're going to switch up. You're going to show them your other side. You're going to show the horns on your halo. And that's where mostly saints came from, because we can all pretend to be saintly, showing our virtue signaling that we're in the gym, but we're still smoking cigarettes. Right. Or that we profess our celibacy, but we have a bunch of children. Or we're saying we're working on ourselves, but we're still drinking. The hypocrisy is real in people, and I feel it all the time. You know, I look outwardly, right, and I see. You know, I was saying it the other day. You don't see what I see. I see a different version of me. I see a me, instead of running to things and being scared, I put in my bravery. I put bravery in my bravado. I put more time in manifesting than manipulating. I started talking about abundance instead of shortage. And instead of cursing the gods every time it throws me a curveball, you know, I became a sailor and I got a compass. I don't know what to tell you. I think it's just once you've been through enough storms, you become a sailor, right? An avid sailor. It's not that you can be in safe harbors and call yourself a sailor. If you're just in port and you dropped anchor, have you really become a sailor? If you haven't experienced other waves, other turbulence, you know, trials and tribulations, then you're always going to think it's fair sailing. But even today, I'm grateful for this fair weather. I could tell you that, you know what I mean? Like, this is more than welcome. It could stay. But your friends will go away, you know? They won't like your page, you know? They won't believe in your dreams. Sometimes it's even your parents, you know what I mean? But it's not their job to live your life, right? And it's not your professor's job at college for you to learn your lessons. And it's not an outward activity. It's not. It doesn't come from the outside in. It's inside out. It's the vibe you put out, right? It's your true belief in your heartbeat that people hear. You know, they can say what they want to say to your face, but you know, when as soon as you leave the place, they're talking shit about you. They're having separate views. Yeah, he's a nice guy. And then the other guy was like, don't call him over. And then he came over and he was like, hey, hi. And I was just like, there's the switch up. You know what I mean? There's the other shoe drop. That people will smile in your face and then talk shit as soon as you leave the place. It's so fucking weird, but there we are. You know, I do it with my friends too. You know, I have secret thoughts that I have about them that is not so secret because I have a public forum. You know what I mean? But it sucks to have friends that are like literally losing their teeth because they're drinking, but they're so gregarious and on point when they're drunk. But as soon as they're not, it's like my friend that was doing IRL, like in real life. He was lit. He was the most funniest, multi-talented, multi-voice guy out there. And guess what? As soon as that camera was off, he disappeared, bro. I'm like, where'd you go? Where's the real you? And these are why you have to go inside you to find the real you and have these deep conversations with yourself so you don't get lost in the forest and lost in the trees. You fly with the breeze. You start finding your flow, where now people are calling me and asking me for a job. I couldn't fucking believe it, that they wanted to be a part of something that we grew together. And multiple people. I'm not just talking one, I'm talking 2, 3. And I must have had like talked to 3 different sales guys about selling for Intersect.ai. Shocked? I think not. You know, I'm already planting myself, even without the money, even without a ride, even without a place to stay. I'm still headed my way. You know, these things aren't going to stop me. They're an eventuality. And that's what it's like. It's like, the guy said, I already visioned winning the race. So therefore, I'm winning the race. And that's what we do in our life. You know, we go into a place and we got to win the race. And the race is our lives. You know, we race for our lives. We race away from that other shoe dropping. We learned how to dance. We learned how to tie our shoe. We learned how to step over the cracks in the rack and everything. Huh?
People are coming soon, so we need to clean.
It's already ready to go. Clean. Yeah, it's ready to go. All I got to do is take a shower. I'm gone. And I don't even have to take a shower. So, hey, you know, like they're watching the clock. He said be out by 10 o'clock. It's 10 o'clock right now. I got to go. I got 10 more minutes to go live on my show. But let me show you the other shoe drop. Watch, witness the energy of, hey, you can stay with me, to now you gotta go, or now you gotta clean. It's a whole switch up of these things, you know what I mean? And I don't care. I'll switch away from people that switch up on me. Pretty simple shit for me. It's like, oh, there it is. Nice, bro. Yeah, it's ready to go.
People are coming at 11.
Yeah, it's all ready to go. It's open. Throw this out. Throw away my buds. I don't think I smoke enough. But yeah, I clean thanks to Airbnb and all my reviews that Mark takes out his trash and he cleans up after himself. And yes, I am ready by 10 o'clock as promised because I'm a man of my word. I got up early, even though I went to bed late doing the interviews, because you got to be impeccable with your word. These are words that I have with myself. The whole conversation, you know, is had with me the whole time I'm being productive. I'm not drilling holes in my canoe. I'm doing what I said I would do, and I'm being proactive. I already started applying to other Airbnbs and looking at other places to stay. I didn't just wait for somebody to trip me up. I kept my eye open and my other eye shut. You know, I shut off to the I'm not perfect and things won't go my way. I'm okay. I'm okay with that. You know, I'm okay with a wave. I'm okay even with a tsunami and an earthquake. You know, life will bring you these things. And it won't be easy and it won't be fun and it won't be convenient. Just like your principles, just like my great Aunt Marlene would say, you know, your principles will be tested. They're not here to be convenient. You know, they're not here to placate you and your ego and the way you hope people see you. No, you have to see you. You have to see yourself, you know, switch up with other people. You got to see your horn on your halos. You got to see all your flaws and incapacities and incapabilities and be okay with them. You know, instead of blaming them or blaming your parents or blaming your situation, you got to be okay with your real version of you. And that's why we do what we do, you know, because once you get real, aito is what they call it here in Finland. Once you get real, you stay real. You don't want to be next to the fake. You don't want to even be next to the phony. People show you the switch up. You're like, okay, homie, you know, and that's what we do around here. It's not being like, oh shit, you said or you would do or da 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 da. No guilt trips here. No blame. That's for the children. This is about realism. This is about real life and rolling with the punches instead of laying down and taking them. And a lot of people are on some, let's punch back. And I'm just like, my punchback used to get me in trouble. My anger taught me. And in that, I was like, I don't want to hurt myself. You know what I mean? My friend was like crying because her friend jumped out of a window again, out of a two-story window. And I was like, you're not going to heal anybody by hurting yourself. You know what I mean? And that's everybody and everything. So, I put the energy where I want it to be. I stay away from negativity. I'm not interested in going backwards. You know, there is no the past. You know, what happened to all your friends? Yeah, why aren't you staying with them? It's not like that anymore. That was 20 years ago. You know, they all got kids. Things have changed. It's not the same. You need to move about the game. And that's Warren G, real life. The Warren G and the G child. So, it's about time that everybody had the realist conversation with themselves. It's about time that they say, yeah, I switched up on myself and I'd rather switch up my moods instead of switch up my attitudes and my mood. I'd rather adjust my sails and learn how to read the stars. I'd rather spend time on Neville Goddard or Napoleon Hill. I'd rather reinforce myself with abundance instead of negativity. I'd rather find my prosperity and believe in my dream. And it's just been such a blessing to just keep every day sending me more and more business. And I can see the graph growing on Google Trends and my Google location, the Google Maps, and it's showing me, hey, you're getting more attention, and that people actually applied for the job. And I didn't stop till I found a way to get the job to apply for free. They wanted to charge me like $35. I was like, oh hell no. That's fucking insane to me. And to post a job, it used to be for free, and that was on Craigslist. And then I found a way, postjobfree.com, went back to Indeed or LinkedIn, and then let me post for free. They wanted to charge me like $95. Next thing I know, I posted it for free. I have 3 different salespeople that want to work with our team. And I was just like, wow, this is a full-on trip that everything grows, including me, including the spring, including the trees, and including your relationships. Indeed, watch this. You know, see, I can feel them wanting to engage with me. So these are my things. Let's go. Let's go. Indeed. And because of everything, it all moves ahead, whether you don't want it to or not. I thought about all the places I've packed, all the places that I've moved to. And if I never left, right? Same with my football jersey. My brother played after me, and his friend had my same number as the jersey, and he was crying. And I said, bro, I had to give it up too. If I didn't give up my number, you wouldn't have it now. And you give up your number, and some other kid has the same experience. So it's a blessing, not a stressing. Make sure that you get it on with your life too, because I promise you, the switch up is coming, and you need to learn to swim. You do. And you need to learn to swim and anticipate these things. I think that it slowed me down being so disappointed in people. They're like, why didn't you keep your word? I designed a business card for you, or I showed up, or I put in more effort than you. It's all true. It's part of the game. It could be in business too. My buddy's like, I love working with you guys because for the first time, I got somebody that puts in as much effort as I do. That's compatibility. That's balance. That's what we're looking for. So when you're going into your life and you're trying to find out why it's not right, ask yourself, what things do you need to switch up in yourself so you don't switch up on people or switch to your anger or switch to your addiction. It's all part of the mission. A lot of people have a tough time with it. They all have a tough time with it because obviously when you switch up, you have to leave the version of you that would gossip with other people or make excuses or live in dread. And then I'm just like, yeah, none of that was useful to my head. So why trip about money when I could be manifesting abundance? And why not switch up myself and my habits instead of worrying about somebody switching up on me? And why not embrace drive change like the book says, from the tribal leadership, embrace and drive change instead of being back every time there's a wave. You know what I mean, bro? Like, I just don't want to be that guy anymore. I've changed, and now I got to change locations too. So I'm moving out of this Airbnb. Things were promised to me, but they're not. And guess what? I could be as happy because I don't know what my destination will bring. It's on to the next adventure and the next happy and showing myself that I do know how to swim and I do know how to ride the waves. Matter of fact, I know how to surf and make this look good. Right. So let's go, bro. Let's go. Take a look. Take a look. Got it all clean and organized for you. Yep. Yep. And that's it. I just gotta grab my soap and shit, but it's everything else is it. So that's it. It's moving day, and I'm moving on. That's my switch up. I hope you listened to this morning marijuana motivation and got something out of it. If you did, you already know. Go like, share, subscribe below. But as always, peace and love. And Chigathon. That means goodbye, but not forever in Finnish. And I'm here in Finland. And I have to be moving. So I'm going to get my shit going. You guys go have a blessed day. And I will see you on the other side as soon as you like, share, and subscribe. But the other side of your fear, the other side of your excuses, and the other side of the world. Because that's where I am, man. That's where I am. And I'm grateful for it. Oh, man, these pull-ups, they're making me sore. So now I'm strong in the sun. And isn't that what we want? What a blessing. Ihana. Right over my shoulder. How cool. I'll see you guys. Peace.